Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Victorian Studio podcast. My name is Maureen and I'm coming to you from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada on Sunday, October the 18th, 2015. Welcome to all new and returning viewers today. I hope you enjoy your visit. Well, I think this will be a little bit of a shorter episode this week, but what I do have at the end of the episode is a little tour of the shelves over my desk here. I've done a tour previously of what's on my desk, but I thought I would share with you what I have stored up above my desk because one of the items that I have up there is kind of Halloween inspired. So I thought you might enjoy seeing that, and since it's a good time of year to share Halloween projects, I thought I would share with you a little mini apothecary that I made last year. It's kind of a Harry Potter inspired project that I did, paper crafting, but if you're interested in that, well, I'll leave that to the end to share with you. So I thought I would start today's episode with showing you some more adorable toys that have been entered in the toy knit-along thread. This week we have a whole bunch of new entries, and why don't we just start right away with those. The first entry in the thread since last week is a little ghost. It's called Little Gus and Augustus Ghost. Now, Andrea knitted this up, and it's a pattern by Patricia Clark. And at the beginning of the thread, she had entered one ghost, and then she's made two in total. So she put the second ghost in a little bit later in the thread. So she has a pair of those, and they're just adorable. So thank you so much, Andrea. Sue, Family Diva, made a Mrs. Bakery Bear, and that is a pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast. That dress and matching shoes are really cute. I really love the dress. She both knitted and crocheted the little frilly edge on it, so it's really, really very cute. The third item I have to share with you today is from Jen, or J Bolton 65. She made a zombie, and that's a knit pattern by Susan Claudino called Voodoo You Love Me, and she used some homespun yarn on that, and I love the stitched heart on it. It's very, very cute, so thank you so much. Great timing, zombies and a toy. The fourth item I wanted to share with you is by Terry Lynn too. She crocheted Greenie. And now she said she was stash busting, and she wasn't too sure if this pattern was of a puppy or a bunny, but she said, why not green? And why not? For sure, it's adorable, whatever you want to consider it to be. It's really cute. Thank you. Mama C, or Christina, knit up a pink flamingo. I just love that, Christina. It's a pattern by Susan B. Anderson, and she actually put rice in the base of the toy so that it would sit up, and she used pipe cleaners for the legs, I believe. And she mentioned in her pattern, or in her project page, that if she was giving this to a child, she probably wouldn't use the pipe cleaners. And that reminds me of my toys as well. I didn't make them to give to children, or else I wouldn't sew in the beads for the eyes that I use, or say for my dragon, I also use wire to hold his wings up, and I certainly wouldn't use that if I was giving that to a child, but I love them just the same. I think the pink flamingo is adorable, and I love the way that you have him positioned on your project page with the little toy sewing machine with the older sewing machine. I love those props too. Next we have Vonnie, or Studio Von Designs on Ravelry. She crocheted an adorable owl called Tiny Tina, and it's so cute with big eyelashes. And I noticed on her project page, I think she had two owls on there. She had one in the thread, but maybe she had made the other one before that had a little top hat. So it's really such a sweet owl. So just love it. Thank you, Vonnie. Rose Bob on Ravelry made a Brianna doll. It's a knit pattern by Val Pierce, and that pattern is called Pippa. And even the hair and the clothes are knitted. It's very, very nice. And Valeria, she added to the FO thread with Russet the Pumpkin. Again, very timely for Halloween coming up. And this is a knit pattern, and it has long, long legs and arms. She calls them tendrils that she knit, and she explains on her project page just exactly how she did that. I just love that effect. So thank you for sharing that with us, Valeria. So thank you everyone for your entries this week. It's really wonderful to see all of the projects and all of the chatter and all of the communications everybody's been doing back and forth in all of our Ravelry threads. Thank you very much for all your participation. Looking forward to seeing even more. So I won't go over the prizes this week. I did that last week. I'll do that every couple of weeks. So I think what I'll do is I'll get right into what I accomplished this week. Of the 4 or 5 projects that I had on the go last week, I finished a couple, so I'll start with those. And the first one I wanted to share with you was my hitchhiker, and it's here in my Fondant Fibre cat bag. And somebody mentioned on, I don't know if it was one of the threads or Instagram, they said, "Oh, your yarn matches your bag." Yeah, that's not a fluke. I purposely did that. This is the West Yorkshire Spinners Bullfinch colorway. This is the yarn that I used, and this is part of their birds line. And this week, West Yorkshire Spinners actually came out with a Christmas special colorway. It's a limited edition, so I wanted to make sure that I got a couple of skeins of that. So I just may have ordered a few other bird colorways as well while I was at it. I didn't have a couple of them, so I sent away for a few of those when I got that Christmas special edition yarn. So I'm looking forward to receiving that hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So this is their signature 4-ply that I used in the colorway Bullfinch. And yes, I finished my hitchhiker, and I am thrilled with the way that it turned out. And I thought for sure that I would be playing yarn chicken at the end because it was getting pretty close to the end of the skein. And I was actually asked on Instagram whether you could do all 42 teeth in this pattern using the one skein of West Yorkshire Spinners, and I'm happy to say yes, you can. I ended up with 8 grams left, so that's all I have left of that skein. But I was getting kind of nervous near the end, and what I did was I weighed it after about 39 teeth. I weighed what I had left, did a set to see how much it used for each set, and after each one, each tooth from there on, I kept weighing it, and then by when I was doing the 41st, I knew that I would have enough. So I was thrilled that I even had a little bit left over that I can keep for something else. So last week, here's the marker. I believe I was at 32, and I thought for sure it would take me a few more weeks. I was only doing a couple of teeth a week, but I got very excited about getting it done, and I just knit, and I ended up doing all the final 10 teeth, which were very, very long, each section, all this week. So I was thrilled that I was able to finish it off. And it's about, I won't be able to get it all in the screen at once, but it's my wingspan, so that's how long it is. So I'm 5'4", so it's probably about 5.5 feet long, and it's a shallow, that's why she calls it a shawlette, I believe. It's fairly shallow, but I think it'll look really nice as a scarf to use either indoors or outdoors. And yeah, I'm thrilled the way with the the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn ended up pooling. Very, very pretty. And you know, I might just make another scarf out of this yarn that most people use just for socks. So I'm thrilled with that. So let's see the final numbers on that. I didn't bother blocking it. It's not like a lace shawl where you block it to show the pattern even more, so I didn't bother doing that. So I ended up using 92 grams, and the needles that I used on this were US 1.5s or 2.5 millimeter needles. So I think it made a very nice fabric. It's nice and thick, it'll be nice and warm, but it's still very drapey. So I'm very excited to have that finally off my needles. So let's see. I also finished another project this week. And that was a test knit that I was doing for Sara at the Pearls of Color podcast. And those are, way back here. Okay, these are her Lady Edith socks. So those are both completed now, and I was thrilled with the final product of that pattern. So thank you so much, Sara, for letting me be a test knitter for you. It was a lot of fun to do this. It's the first time that I've done color work on short socks like this with the contrasting toe, heel, and cuff. So that was a lot of fun to create those, and because they're just ankle socks, they went so quickly. So I was really thrilled with the speed of that project. So all done, the ends all in. I kitchenered the toes as well, and her pattern was really easy to follow. And yeah, I really enjoyed knitting these up, and I'm sure I'll be making more in the future. So for that project, I was using my Kikiboo bag. I used, if you haven't seen those before, the Lion brand Sock Ease, and that's in Snow Cone. The colorway number is 178, and Marshmallow number 100. And I really love this yarn. It worked out really well. I used, let's see, US number 2s on this. And yeah, I'm really thrilled with the fabric that it created with that yarn. So no complaints at all. Really, really happy with the results. So a second finished project off my needles this week, which means I'm looking forward to casting on something new. But I haven't yet, but I've got a few ideas of a few things that I'd like to start soon. So hopefully this week I'll get something new on the needles. In the meantime, there was a couple of other things that I was continuing to work on. The first were my mittens, and these I'm doing with the Knit and Stitch Bits bag, of course. This is the yarn that daughter and I got from the Manitoba Fibre Festival. So the yarn is alpaca. Let's see here. I know I have the card here. Here it is. This is from Burton Alpacas, and as I say, we got this at the Manitoba Fibre Festival 2 weeks ago. Daughter picked out the color because I told her I needed something in pink so that I could enter an item in Pinktober, and I don't think I ever explained what Pinktober is. Denise at the Knitting Den and Talia and Marlisha at Pen Hook and Needles, they're doing this knit along, and it's for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So that's why they chose that you can enter anything into their knit along that is pink. So I think this more than qualifies. It's beautiful, different shades of pink, going from a very deep rose color to a very light dusty rose, and it's so soft. And as I showed last week, I got my first mitten done, and of course I chose a pattern with cables, and the cables are only on the back of the hand of the mitt. The palm is just straight stockinette, and I am using the pattern Dainty Bubbles. This is a free pattern on Ravelry by T. Shep. And this was initially written for people with small hands. So what I did was I just modified the pattern because I really like the cabling on the back of this. So what I did was I'm using my alpaca with US 7s or 4.5 millimeter needles. And this yarn is 80% alpaca, 20% merino. It's a sport 2-ply. And it's hand dyed as well, and it is incredibly soft. So what I did was I made more stitches across, just keeping the cable pattern centered in the back of the palm. I also increased the cuff of the mitten to 25 rows. I think she calls for 18, so I like mine a little bit deeper than that. And I really like the thumb gusset, the way it's written. So I completed the one, and on the second one I've really made some good progress this week. I'm probably about halfway up the hand of the second mitt. That's where I was last week, so I've done a fair amount considering most of my time was spent finishing up the hitchhiker. I worked on that every day until it was done. So after it was done, that's when I started working on my other projects. So I've got the thumb gusset complete and just on some waste yarn there, so I'll do that at the end. But yeah, just probably another maybe 1 or 2 sessions and I'll have this finished off as well. So I want to make sure that I get this done by the end of the month because that's when their Pinktober knit along ends. So yeah, that's a good project that I'm continuing to work on. The other thing that I've been working on, but not very much, unfortunately, are my Tardis socks. So they're in my Tardis bag, and I've been working on them at the same time, 2 at a time, but not on the same needles. I finished off all the color work last week, so now I'm basically just working with the denim yarn. Oh, I better show you. I can find in my bag here. I am using for these socks the Briggs & Little Durasport yarn. This is a Canadian company. It's from Canada's oldest yarn mill down in New Brunswick. And this is, it says it's a 1-ply, 430 yards, and it was a very reasonably priced yarn, but it is more like an opal yarn. It's, I mean, especially after working with the alpaca, this almost seems scratchy, but it's very, very hardy. It'll be a long-wearing sock, I'm sure, but it's still stretchy. And but by no means I would call this a soft yarn, but I'm really enjoying the way it's turning out with my Tardis socks. So now this pattern that I'm using is called Police Box Socks, and this pattern is by Audrey Nicklin, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry as well. And as I've mentioned in previous episodes, I did revise the pattern, and I was asked this week by a couple of viewers if I could share of my pattern, my revisions, my modifications to the pattern. So I did do that. Audrey has, because they're cuffed down, it's obviously upside down in the pattern that you're knitting it, she had the 3 windows across, and I wanted to change that to 2 to make it more like the Tardis in the show. So what I did was I used Excel and just charted out using the same stitch counts, but I just charted out some new windows. And also the little white box is to represent the sign, the police box sign on the front of the one door. So anybody who's downloading this pattern or this modification off of my project page, I just made a note on there that at the front of the socks you can do both the two windows and the sign, but then if you're using my same pattern for the back of the socks, don't do the white sign. That only is on the front of the Tardis. So if you are interested and you do want to make these socks, you're more than welcome to go to my project page, and I have a link there just to download my revisions. It's an Excel file. So when I was doing the heel flap this week, I had to make sure that I put it on the back, since the back is a little different than the front. So the front is both the two windows for the two doors and the police box sign, and the back just has the windows. So what I got done this week was the start of the heel flap on both socks. I got one done, and I was working on this and just knitting along, really wasn't paying too much attention. I ended up doing more than I needed, so I had to tink those back and stop at the correct length. I thought it was looking pretty long, and just silly me wasn't paying attention. So I got the heel flap done on one, and I just got started on the heel flap on the second one. So that's where I'm at this moment. So I'll continue on. I'm just going to make plain stockinette foot and toe, so it should be easy going from now on. So not as much done on that project that I would have liked, but again, I spent most of the week working on the hitchhiker, so I really wanted to get that complete. I was really, after I was questioned on Instagram about whether I could get all 42 teeth, I went to another project page. Somebody else had made a hitchhiker out of West Yorkshire Spinners yarn as well, and she said she chickened out at the end and didn't get the full 42 teeth. So I was curious to see if I could in fact get that done, and I was thrilled when I could. So I think I was just so determined to find out whether I could or not. I spent most of my week just working on the hitchhiker. So hopefully this week I'll get more done on my mitts and my Tardis socks. And that also meant that I didn't get any work done at all on my Roosevelt cardigan. That's the one project that didn't see any love this week, but maybe this week I'll get back to that with a little less projects on the needles. Although who knows how many I'm going to cast on this week. Time will tell. I guess you'll find out next week. So let's see. I think that's all of the knitting that I have to share with you today. The other things that I wanted to show you, though, were a few things that arrived in the mail this week. I'm still expecting one important package that I can't wait to show you when it arrives. But something else arrived after a very long wait. Valeria, one of the members of our podcast group, and someone who's been very, very supportive of the podcast and the group, and has been a big help and a very nice friend. She lives in the Netherlands, and we've been sending packages back and forth, and something arrived from her this week after a 5-week trip from the Netherlands, and it is called a pocket letter. So she sent this wonderful parcel to me, and it's something that she is so sweet to have sent. It's obviously taken her a lot of time and a lot of effort to create. So I was just so thrilled. Thank you, Valeria, for sending this to me. And I'll be sending something off to you real soon, but I won't share that until you receive it. So what she had in her package were a few things, but the first thing I wanted to share with you was some cross stitch that she made. and I just love it. She said you could use it as a pin cushion or a decoration or an ornament. I think what I'll do is I'll find somewhere in my studio to hang this. So isn't that just so beautiful and delicate? And I love deer, so that's a wonderful, wonderful pattern on there. So thank you. Your work is just beautiful. She even has some gold, little tiny gold thread, and also the green thread is also like sparkly as well. So she had all kinds of things in this package. Top secret messages. I won't be sharing. Those are messages back and forth, but some postcards of where she lives and photographs of where she used to live. Really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. That really nice messages on the back. And now the main pocket letter. Now, if you've never heard of pocket letters before, they are items that you can put in a 9x9 acetate sheet holder that's basically made for like baseball cards or trading cards. And what you do is you put something special in each little pocket, and then you fold it up in 3 so that it would fit in a 10x4 envelope. So that's the idea behind it. So each little pocket just is holding something very special. So what she did is she had this beautiful sleeve over top the whole thing. And oh, it's so pretty. All the things that she added on this, you can tell she put so much work into it. All the beautiful buttons and even a wax seal on it. So I slid that off and then found this beautiful, beautiful pocket letter. As I say, it folds up like this, but look at all those wonderful items. There's everything from teas to little labels, like sewing labels. She's got vintage buttons. She's even got some knitting on little tiny needles in there. Again, more cross stitch. That's a little pocket that she put tea in. Little vintage buttons and cameos and charms. It's just amazing. I really, really love it. And every little item she's put so much thought and care into. So Valeria, I'm just overwhelmed. Thank you so much. Isn't that wonderful? And she even put in a Harry Potter card. She knows me well. A lenticular Harry and Voldemort card. So that is just awesome. So thank you so much, Valeria. I can't wait to continue working on yours. It started, and I can't wait to send you something in return. So much fun. So if you're interested in pocket letters, there's all kinds of information on the net. That if you just Google pocket letters, I'm sure that you'll find more information. I think it's something that's fairly new. I hadn't heard about it before she mentioned it and asked if we wanted to do a swap. So I'm looking forward to working on that some more. So let's see what else arrived this week. I got one large skein of yarn that I was waiting for, and that is some Countess Ablaze. Again, another indie dyer that I've been wanting to try out, and this is her Bad Girls Club. And it's 75% BFL, 25% nylon. It's 425 meters. So I think these will make either great socks or a shawl or a scarf. But I just love those deep, deep colors. Again, things that I usually wouldn't, usually go for. But it's just beautiful. It's got everything from purples to rusty browns, even a touch of orange and gray and black. So really beautiful, beautiful items. So I'm thrilled to have a Countess Ablaze skein to add to my stash. The other thing that I received this week was Harry Potter related as well. And that is a set of mini skeins. Now these I saw on the Caffeinated Knitting podcast, and these mini skeins were a special set, a limited edition set, and it was so limited edition. This is from Brew City Yarns, by the way. These are called Wizard mini skeins. They were so limited, as a matter of fact, that I got the last set, and I know that because when I went there, I went to order, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll get 2 sets. So I ordered the 1, and then I wanted to increase the number to 2, and it said sorry, sold out. So luckily I grabbed the last set. So I don't know what I'm going to make of them yet, but I really couldn't resist. If it's Harry Potter, I really wanted to get these. So these are all minis of what they have full-size yarns on their site. So let's see, I wanted to let you know which ones they were. The purple is called Dementors. Really, really beautiful purples and grays. The light blue is called Dumbledore. Really pretty. And it's even got sparkles in it. Pardon me. So it must have some stellina in that. The yellow is Hufflepuff. Again, very, very nice. The dark blue is Ravenclaw. And the green, of course, Slytherin. So that's really nice. It's even got some grays in there as well. And finally, my favorite, of course, because I'm a Gryffindor on Pottermore, is Gryffindor. So that was really nice to find those. Very lucky that I was able to grab those after watching Caffeinated Knitting and them showing those sets off. So that brings me to the end of the knitting related items today, but it does segue nicely into the project that I wanted to share with you. As I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, last year I did a project. I wanted to make a little mini apothecary as a display at Halloween, and so what I did was I went to the dollar store and found a couple of little wooden cabinets that I painted up, changed up a bit, and added different kinds of Halloween themed papers. I found all kinds of small vials and had a real fun time using different liquids and inks and some Sculpey to create items in the jars and in little mini drawers and everything. So it was a really fun project to kind of see what I could find that I could add to it to make it very spooky. So I'll share that with you at the end of this podcast. So I'll end with that. I will say thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed seeing what I had to share with you this week, and I hope you enjoy this little tour of both my shelf and my mini apothecary. So until next week, have a wonderful week, everyone, and thank you again for visiting with me in my studio today. Bye-bye. Okay, I thought I would share with you today what I have in my craft room over my desk. I've previously done tours of my yarn stash and how I store my crafting supplies in vintage items on my desk. But today I thought I would share with you what I have over my desk, because one of the items that I do have is Halloween related. And speaking of Halloween, before I do show you that, you might have seen on my on the earlier part of this podcast some of the vintage Halloween items that I have on my desk. So those are some things that I've collected over the years. And this item, though, is a card that I created using Graphic 45 Halloween paper a few years back. So it's a three-dimensional card with all kinds of little pullouts and tags and things like that. So that was a lot of fun to make. So I bring it out every Halloween now. So what I wanted to share with you above my desk are items that I've collected, some vintage, some not, but I also wanted to do it at this time because one of the items I do have over my desk is a Harry Potter inspired Halloween apothecary. So I will show that last. I will start though with some of the items over the desk, including an RCA Victor mirror sign with their logo, and matching, those are vintage RCA Victor salt and pepper shakers. And those items there are vintage office supplies. And some of them date back to the early 1900s. Some of them are newer, but I love each one of them for the different graphics and that they have on them. I also have a few small bits in a small desk drawer. And above that are some silverware and glassware items that just decorate my vintage and Victorian studio. Those clocks, they're behind those, is an Edison sign, electric light sign, so I really love that. And I also have a couple of other Edison items with that as well. That's an old record and Edison recorder box as well. So yeah, most of those items are either vintage or antique. And what I wanted to show you today especially was this apothecary. Now I'll add on to the end of this slideshow of photos that I took while I was making this. I made it before I really did videos. So I will show you those photos and kind of explain how I made it as I go. One item that I made first was this little kind of portable apothecary in a little book that closes up. And then what I did was this larger apothecary. So it's 3 sections. It's got 3 wooden cabinets that I placed all together on a kind of a pedestal, and added items such as little drawers, little miniature bottles, vials that had special Halloween-y type ingredients in them, and other decorations like chess pieces used for decoration, yeah, all kinds of different things. So I think it'd probably be easier for me to show you that in a slideshow, but I wanted to also show you that that's where I keep it in my room over my desk. So I'll go to how I made it now.